Metroid Prime is a fucking amazing game. The level design is great, it controls perfectly, the puzzles are challenging, the atmosphere is great, and a whole bunch of other things. The Prime series is one of the only first-person puzzle platformers that I've seen done well, so my highest praises go to the people at Retro Studios. It's also a game from my childhood. It's a game that bound me and captivated me as a kid. Frustrated me like crazy sometimes, even to the point of selling the game and rebuying it a few months later. But it was always rewarding, and still stands to this day as one of my favorite games of all time. Metroid Prime Echoes and Hunters rank pretty highly on that list as well. So it both surprised and disappointed me when I found out that I didn't really like Corruption that much, especially since I bought a Wii for the sole purpose of playing that game. So what sets it apart? How can this game that seems to follow the same formula as the other three games do so badly? Well, that's why I'm here, to tell you some things. So, thing number one! Controls! I need to mention right off the bat here that me and the Wii don't get along that well. It's not that it molested me as a child or anything, or that I think it's a bad console, because it's really not. It's just that I hate motion controls. I find them really finicky and frankly exhausting sometimes. Especially with a game like Prime, where because of the new control scheme you have to point your Wiimote at the screen all the fucking time just to look around. So I came fresh off the GameCube controls of Prime 1 and 2, which, by the way, are perfect, and into this new Wii waving, oh my god, my arms hurt! But because this game is now on motion controls, the whole thing plays completely differently from past Prime games. For starters, it's harder to strafe. Never played Prime 1 or 2? Well, let me tell you about strafing. The whole game's combat system is pretty much designed around the idea of strafe jumping. It's a technique that you learn pretty quickly because you realize that if you don't strafe, then you die. Basically, the way it works is that you lock on by squeezing the L trigger, and then you tap B to jump and either move left or right on your control stick to jump in that direction in a circle around your enemy. Simple, right? They shoot at you, you jump out of the way, and you keep them in your sights. As long as you keep holding the L trigger, and they don't rush behind you, you stay locked onto them. Well, Prime 3 pretty much throws that out of the window. It forces you to actually rely on your physical aiming skills, which, isn't a bad thing, normally. But for Prime 3 it is, because you go into the game with the idea of strafing in your head, and then you realize that the lock trigger only works as long as you keep your Wiimote aiming in their general direction, and then you try to strafe, and if, like me, you're not good with motion controls, you're probably not going to be locked on by the end of the jump. And then you spin around and try and find them, and it's so annoying. But it's more of a personal complaint. I'm sure that if you're used to the Wii controls, then it's not that much of a problem, and I did get used to it eventually. But even then, it just didn't feel right. On top of that, they changed the whole way that you aim as well. Previously, you ran around with your gun drawing an exact 90-degree angle with the floor, and you had to stop and hold R to look around freely. And this is a little weird to get used to when you first start playing Prime, but then you switch to Prime 3, and suddenly you're free looking everywhere all the time, and you can move around freely too, and it's just bizarre. I mean, it is an improvement from a bystander's point of view, but it seems a completely alien concept to a Prime 1 and 2 veteran like myself. Still, again, you get used to it, and in all fairness, it makes navigating rooms a little quicker in the long run. But whatever, man, it fucking annoyed me when I first started playing Corruption. Thing number 2! The story! What? Metroid has a story, you say? But there's little to no dialogue or character interactions. Yeah, you're right. Only you're not, because in Prime 3 there's a whole bunch of dialogue, and let's not even talk about Other M. But Prime 1 and 2 convey their story by the atmosphere and events. There's little to no cutscenes, and everything that Samus sees and experiences in-game is seen and felt by you, the player. And it's done really well in the first three games, that is, Prime 1, Prime 2, and Hunters. But Prime 3 is just full of cutscenes and characters and objectives and shit that I don't fucking care about. Only I do care about it because it makes me angry. Ugh! So if you don't know the story of the Prime games, allow me to spoil it for you. Samus Aran is exploring a derelict space station that's orbiting a derelict planet that used to belong to the Chozo, a hyper-intelligent species of bird creatures that are really fucking hype. While on the space station, Samus encounters Meta Ridley, who looks fucking amazing in this game, and she decides to chase him down to the planet below. She does some stuff, and you read all the lore that you scan, and you find out that a meteor hit the planet a while back which spewed a substance called phazon into the atmosphere, poisoning and corrupting everything that it touches. And it makes one of the freakiest fucking noises in any game I've ever played. Seriously, this game gave me nightmares as a kid. Phazon-induced nightmares. Anyway, you find out that the meteor was actually Metroid Prime, and so after killing Ridley, you go into the impact site of the meteor and find the Metroid Prime, and it's a fucking awesome fight. In fact, all of the boss fights in this game are great. So you knock Prime down a hole and it breaks out of its armor and you fight it in its purest form, the essence of Prime. And because at that point you're wearing the Phazon suit, a suit that makes you immune to the corrosive effects of Phazon, you can utilize its power to unleash the Hyper Beam onto the essence and kill it, and it's so fucking awesome! Ugh! But it grabs you at the last minute and pulls your Phazon suit off. Oh no! And then with its dying breath it puts itself into your suit and becomes Dark Samus. So come Metroid Prime 2 and you crash land onto another dead planet and you find Dark Samus mucking around with some Phazon when some weird dark creatures attack you and strip you of all your powers. The creatures turn out to be things called Ing, and they're the main antagonists of the game, and they look fucking awesome too. And the game follows this light and dark theme because the world's been split into 2 dimensions by the presence of the Ing, and yada yada yada, you gotta save the dead guys and return peace to their crypts. So you do all that, but along the way you encounter Dark Samus a few times, and you fight her, and oh my god, that final fight is so hard. It's so fucking hard. Do you know how long it took me to realize that you could enter hyper mode again by looking up while charging the dark beam at the right moment while she shoots Phazon missiles at you? I mean, what the fuck? How am I supposed to know that? Nothing in the whole game has ever indicated to me that that was possible. What the fuck? What the fuck? So you kill Dark Samus a final time, and she looks pretty beat up by this point, and this is where the game's story takes a turn for the worse. This is where the devs made the wrong choice, in my opinion. Because here's the thing, at this point in the game, I knew that the next Metroid game was going to be called Corruption. I'd seen the previews and the demos, and I was so fucking excited. So when I got to this point at the end of Echoes, I was adamant that Dark Samus was going to grab me, or put herself inside me, or transfer her essence into me, and then I'd slowly be corrupted by her presence in the next game, and nope. She just dies, and I run away, and blah blah blah, the end. So Prime 3 comes around, and God, yes, amazing opening title music. Oh, it sounds so good to my ears. So yeah, let's start a new game, and what the fuck? What the actual fuck? No, seriously, what is this? Why? What? What? But seriously, that's fucking dumb. No, that's beyond dumb. Why? Why? Ugh. Ugh. And this happens as soon as you start a new game. Like, no build-up, no explanation. Why? Fuck you, that's why. So Dark Samus is back. Yay. Alright, whatever. So we're here in this G-Fed facility, and they're all like, you need to save these Aurora units from Phazon corruption because the space pirates, and wait a minute. Who the fuck are these people? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's it. They're the bounty hunters. Okay. What was wrong with the hunters from, Metroid Prime Hunters, huh? Because the problem here is that I immediately don't give a crap about any of the stuff that's happening here. I can't relate to anything that's going on or any of the people. The only thing I can draw correlation with here is that the Aurora unit thingy looks a lot like Mother Brain. No prizes for guessing what the final boss of this game is. So if anything, I'm super suspicious of everything, and I don't want to cooperate. Seriously, why didn't they get 1 or 2 of the other hunters in this scene? I like those guys. Sure, some of them are batshit crazy, but maybe at least have Noxus. I mean, you practically already have him with this Rundus motherfucker. I mean, look at these two. They're pretty much the same. They both have ice-based attacks, and they have similar character motivations. That is, to stop crime and protect the universe from losing the balance between good and evil. Like, why? Why didn't they use Noxus? He survives hunters, and he even helps Samus out in the final battle. It would at least be a nice familiar face giving me something to relate to, instead of this Noxus lookalike that just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. It would also be more moving to me as a player when I have to kill him because he gets corrupted, because we're sort of friends by this point. I mean, yeah, he tried to kill me a few times, but we have history, is what I'm saying. Whatever. So yeah, Dark Samus shows up and blasts us all with her thing here, and now we're all corrupted. And a month later, you wake up and you find that they gave you Hyper Beam on demand. What? 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 Ah! I'm gonna admit it here that I actually stopped playing at this point for a few months. It just made me so angry. Hey, you know that thing that you used at the end of the last two games as last resort, because without it you were fucked? Because even Phazon-based beings can't stand pure unfiltered Phazon or whatever? Yeah, well fuck you, here, have it on demand. Oh, okay, let me just be able to kill everything all the time. Oh, it uses health as ammo? Oh no. What a shame it is that all these enemies that I kill drop health items. If you play this game as a power gamer, well, guess what? You're gonna have a grand old goose of a time, because it's a piece of piss. But not me, I limited myself. I used the Hyper Beam with great reluctance. I used it only as a last resort, which meant that most bosses took fucking ages for me to beat because it took a few tries for me to realize that I can only beat them with the Hyper Beam. So you slowly get corrupted the more you use your Hyper Beam, but it's only at designated pre-scripted corruption points, usually after bosses, after finding out that using the Hyper Beam is the only way to kill them, and that's as far as I got. But presumably you fight Dark Samus a few times, and then you kill her for good, and then you fight the Aurora unit because it's actually a prototype for the Mother Brain or something. Again, I don't know. Someone please tell me. I don't really care about spoilers. So yeah, I gave up playing this game. That's how much it broke me. So, fuck.